So we should now be live as we'll head towards 8 o'clock for our Forbidden Door preview. Myself, Alex, and Libby here.
Hello.
We'll be previewing all the stuff going on Forbidden Door on Sunday, only a couple of days away now. So hopefully we'll give people a couple of minutes, just ticking towards 8 o'clock. So we are live now, so fantastic. With
Success.
It is. That's the first hurdle, is getting on.
No technical issues.
Yeah, so. No, how are you both before we kickstart?
Oh, it's bloody hot in the UK, isn't it? It's so fucking hot here. It's insane. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just like sat, like working, just sweating away, just hoping for a cool breeze to come through the window at any point.
Pretty much, yeah. Like I had to have the window open today. It doesn't happen in Glasgow very often.
Oh god, yeah, actually. What about you, Jamie?
Oh, we're just about as warm. I've just come back off holidays. It's not as bad, but it's
nice.
pretty hot still. So,
Yeah,
and hello to
I
Colin as well in the chat.
Hi, welcome. It is bloody Libby. It is bloody me. Hey, Colin, how you doing? How's it going? What time zone are you in, Colin? Are you in America? Are you in the UK? I never know with people. It's always a mystery when you get to find out.
We wonder. Kieran said this is a great time for everybody, so hopefully we'll. It'll be good for anyone coming from America. So
yeah,
we'll
nice post-lunch live stream.
Yeah, so we're just ticking past 8 o'clock now. So we'll start with you, Libby. What do you think as like an overall of the coming up the pay-per-view?
Well, as last year, they've had to cook it and cook it quick. They've spoken about before kind of a lot of what they can hype up for Forbidden Door is mostly based on who is available, who will New Japan allow the time to go over to America to appear on a Dynamite to record a whatever. Oh my gosh, I know. And I think I'm excited. It's a lot of things I didn't expect. But I feel like it's coming together now.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling it for a while. I couldn't really tell. I couldn't really litmus test what was happening. But I think now I'm feeling a bit more confident about what were the quality of matches we're going to get. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think the same. They were quite late to announce things for this one, weren't they? But so like you got the bulk of the really, really good matches, and then this week we've got everything else, and we've got like a nice round card now. We know what to expect now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The build to it's been a little bit disjointed. I don't think I don't know, maybe they could have built it a little bit in the build up to Double or Nothing as well. Maybe have it going on in the background in New Japan and stuff. But overall, the card's really strong. I kind of knew what to expect after last year. I didn't expect there to be like all-timer stories going into it, but the matches will be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, some of the matches they just don't need any build, do they? And we'll get to those as we go along. I mean, the main place to start that they were calling it the main event on Dynamite yesterday. Okada against Danielson. These what we predicted to be the main event.
I was under the impression maybe I misread it or misheard it, or maybe I just willed it into the truth in my mind because I just assumed Will and Kenny would be the main event. I was like, oh yeah. And when they announced it as the main event, I was like, oh, like a co-main event thing. And then I realized like, no, that is the main event is Bryan and Okada, which I think, in any other circumstance is a main event. But I think with what we have with Will and Kenny going on, I just kind of expected that would be it. It makes sense. It's not the number one belt, obviously.
They're gonna have to go on at like either side of the pay-per-view, aren't they? Because following either match is going to be a pain in the arse for everyone.
Well, this is what happened at Wrestle Kingdom. Was the Will and Kenny match at Wrestle Kingdom incredible, fantastic. Jay and Okada followed it. I mean, they said they were like the co-main events, but obviously Jay and Okada followed it. And I remember Dave Meltzer tweeting at the time being like, I've never seen an Okada match not outdo the match before it, no matter how good it is. And lo and behold, it got a lower star rating from Big Old Dave than it did the Kenny and Will match, which I thought was incredibly interesting and sort of an underestimating from New Japan in a way. It's the US belt, so it's not supposed to go before, the heavyweight belt. But I think it's a lesson learned almost that this is a very difficult match to follow up. Even Okada and Jay couldn't deliver the same feeling as the previous.
I mean, it was one of the best matches of all time. Like,
yeah,
even sometimes even Okada on his best day isn't matching what they put on at Wrestle Kingdom. I just hope that they kind of get a New Japan time to put on a match, but rather than this sort of AEW 20-25 minutes, because what they did at Wrestle Kingdom is genuinely like could make you a fan of wrestling. It was fucking incredible.
Yeah, I do think if you're brave enough, if you know somebody who likes the violence, then this is a great match. If you know someone who likes like violent films or whatever, you're being like, oh, you might like this wrestling match. I think that is like a good one to like send out, or just like, that high level of tension. That would be a good introduction match. I think Colin has a good point. Like, even not as a massive AEW fan, he says, I'm not missing Okada Danielson for no one. I think he's kind of right. Like, if you don't know this that well, you see those two names and you're kind of drawn into it.
I think as wrestling fans in general, you're aware of how good both of these people are, and you know that a match is not going to disappoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Okada was there last year, wasn't he? But it's like he's in a bigger spot this time than he was at the last Forbidden Door, and that reaction when he came out on Dynamite yesterday, that really showed that the fans do care about him, and that's sort of
they presented him as a star, and it seemed like they changed the noise balancing, like I don't think they turned it up. I think they knew what was coming, so they like reduced it so that you could hear the crowd a bit more. Because that was a big difference in noise, and Statlander did get a good pop when she came out.
Yes, yeah, exactly. He's like a magical fairy that you don't get to see very often in AEW. So the reaction is like huge when we get to see him, because he is always going to be the last person New Japan is going to let time off the schedule to go over.
He's like the final boss in New Japan, isn't he?
Yep, so true, so true.
Yeah, so you say he's like the final boss there, though. But do you see him winning this match? Because predicting these cards, it's all politics, isn't it? Like if you win one, we win one, sort of thing. So, I mean, what do we see it going?
I don't think this is a match that Danielson will care about winning whatsoever. Like, he's made it pretty clear that he just wants to wrestle the best and help younger people develop. I don't think he needs to make Okada develop, but he doesn't. But he's not going to care about winning this. I think he just wants to wrestle Okada, and it'll be more important for New Japan for Okada to win this than it is for AEW for Danielson to win it.
It would be quite the plot twist if he won, especially going into the G1 for Okada. That would be quite the twist to be going on like a big loss. Very unlikely, highly unlikely. But for the drama, for the G1 drama, it would be interesting. We have seen, Okada sort of on the back foot in the G1 before. He's had to, clinch it back at the end, which he kind of has quite often. But it would be a little bit spicy for G1 season. I don't know. What do you think,
Maybe
Jamie?
A time limit draw.
Oh.
So I was expecting. I mean, we don't want to keep his powders dry for when we get to Omega, but I'm expecting that to be the time limit draw, and then because I can't see either AEW or New Japan winning both of the two the co-main events, but I guess it makes sense, like you said with Danielson, Alex, who being he doesn't really care if he wins or not, and New Japan care if Okada wins more than anything. So that seems to be they don't let Okada lose for no one, do they? So
he's number one dojo boy. Best Dojo Boy ever been, ever said to ever wrestle, you ever seen. Number 1, Okada. He's protected at all costs, and also, thankfully, has the talent to back it up as well.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
he
he does.
deserved it, doesn't he? He's the best wrestler in the world, so he should be protected at some point, shouldn't he? So.
Yeah, I do worry about him. They work him hard. I'm worried about that back. I'm worried about his
Yeah.
back. I feel like Kazoo needs a holiday. I hope he gets some good paternity leave or something.
Like when he came
you know?
back after having a kid, he looked fucking great.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he hadn't been taking bunts consecutively for 10 years.
I mean, his back's
So
in
true.
better nick than Danielson's, so it's not.
Yeah.
But
That's it with wrestlers, isn't it? It's like we're both bad. Who's the worst? Who's the
Danielson's
worst
really
right now?
looked after himself, hasn't he? He's not done much wrestling at all recently. You could tell he was saving himself for a big match, and obviously it's come out that this is the big matches that he's been saving for.
It's smart. It's smart. I'm happy not to watch an Omega for a couple of weeks if that means Kenny Omega can have a great match and can continue to have great matches. I don't want my faves putting themselves through the ringer to end their careers early or to put themselves
100%.
in harmful
people
positions.
give MJF a lot of shit for not wrestling so often, but he's going to be in good condition when he retires, which is what you want for the people that are entertaining you and putting their lives on the line.
Isn't it? Yeah, but you mentioned Kenny Omega there. The other part of the two main events is the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match with Omega, the second Omega Ospreay match. Omega, of course, the champion. It's his second defense of the title. But we'll have to see, I guess. What do we think? A title change? A title retention?
I have so many theories on this. What's Liam saying? It's certainly hard to choose because Okada losing makes no sense, but New Japan most likely wants the IWGP US title represented in the G1. Very true.
My only
make
feel
a
is
strong
that
point.
they've not been bothered before, have they? They never we've not had a US title all year in New Japan, and it's not. They've not really had. So.
I think I think at the beginning of the title, most definitely. I kind of feel now it's sort of replaced their Intercontinental belt in theory, in terms of it doesn't need to be in New Japan, and they're kind of happy to let it float outside New Japan to keep the US brand going. Yeah, I don't know. Alex, you share your thoughts first, because I know what I think, but I could go on and on.
I think Kenny might retain, but I think it might build to maybe a match at All In for Will Ospreay to win at All In. Because that would be a big English win at Wembley. Like, I think that would get a massive pop. But who knows? I mean, I could see Omega losing it because the story's there for Will Ospreay to like kind of be on the ascension again. But I don't know. I don't really care who wins, to be honest. I just want to see a repeat of Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of who wins, like you said, it's gonna be a great match regardless. But I mean, like Colin said, he thinks that Ospreay is going to win to tie the series, and that makes sense because I think we all are looking at All In. There will be a third match between them. That seems to be what everyone thinks. And I guess the only two ways to get in there are either Ospreay wins to tie it up, or it's a time limit draw. Because I guess if Omega wins another, then there's no reason for Ospreay to come back again, I guess. But it's certainly interesting with the two of them and where they're going to go.
The other thing that could happen, obviously, is Will Ospreay wins and Pac challenges him for a match at All In.
Oh, that's some galaxy brain thinking. Didn't consider that. Didn't have that on my bingo card. I like
Pac will definitely be at All In, right?
You used to hope so, wouldn't you?
He's gotta. Bro, gotta show up All In.
That'd be a 5-star match in any place. The crowd would out.
Trying to rack my brain like I am cagematch.com. I'm not. I feel like Pac and Will have probably faced off somewhere weird before, like in a PWG or a Rev Pro or something. I almost said Dragon Gate. There's no way they could have crossed paths. I think.
Yeah,
Will
they had a
been child.
Rev Pro match in 2019.
There you go. Have they had any other matches?
I don't think so. I think that's the only.
Ooh, so it's pretty fresh. It's a pretty fresh idea. Here's my thoughts, and I'm often wrong, but bear with me. I wondered when we had the Don Kenny drama, the Don Elite drama, I sort of wondered, rather than Takeshita, if they didn't want to turn Takeshita heel, because you have to remember previously they had shot like a whole bunch of promos. They did footage going out together, Takeshita and Don, like Takeshita being introduced to America by Don, and they didn't use any of it because Takeshita was so over, I think. And they were like, well, we can't turn Takeshita heel. He gets to, like, on a house show match before the taping, he gets like the biggest reaction. So I feel like they've just waited for as long as possible before they can turn him heel. But I thought before the possibility of him teaming up with Takeshita, I did cross my mind to be like, could Don sort of be Will's mouthpiece, Will's kind of backup for when he's in the US, for, I don't know, even in New Japan? It kind of crossed my mind because we did have those situations where it didn't, like when Kenny and Will kind of came to blows on the mic, Kenny absolutely decimated him. So I thought, okay, one really good thing might be is to put Don and Will together. That might be a really strong combo, and also like makes total sense in terms of their history, everything they've been through when Don and Kenny was kind of hanging out in New Japan, and Will was just coming up into the heavyweight scene, and how Kenny left and everything, what happened with Ibushi. So I was like, maybe this is something that's in the mix. Obviously, it didn't happen, but we did see Don kind of come up to Will, proposition with his military grade security guards, which I'm just obsessed with, the idea of Don Callis having this.
The idea of Don Callis having security was enough for me.
You know, there would be just like way too many people, just like ridiculous amount of like giant men, and Takeshita also there.
Yeah.
And I hope they represent that a bit, like him coming out like Goldberg.
Oh, slay. But what I wonder is if Don is going to throw the match or try to throw the match for Kenny using Takeshita, using himself, whatever, but it backfires. Kenny gets the win, cuts All In, and Will beats Kenny at All In for the belt. So we have like a 3-match series in terms of it's Kenny, Will in London getting the belt.
I feel it's destined for a 3-match, isn't it? Yeah.
It's definitely a 3-match situation. It's just
Liam
how
says
we
he's
get
got
there.
a small army of Canadian geese.
Geese are powerful, man. I've seen stories about geese breaking people's arms, or maybe breaking children's arms. Somebody Google that. But geese are powerful. They're no joke. I wouldn't mess with any. Well, not even a single Canadian goose.
One scared my parents' dog a few weeks ago. Don't mess with them.
There you go. They'll take a dog, they'll take a person. What's next is this, the logical move through. But I don't know, what do you guys think about possibly a Don Callis, a Takeshita throwing the match in either direction?
I thought was, what would be the reaction if it's like a scramble finish, like a DQ finish or whatever, and it's a bit of a smozzy end? Are people going to be like, because it's such a big match, in terms of like a dream match?
AEW don't really do those sort of fucky finishes in pay-per-views either. Not often.
Well, they used them all up on the last pay-per-view, didn't they?
Sorry?
That was a lot.
I said they used them all up on the last pay-per-view, all the screw finishes.
They used their year's supply of bullshit up on that last pay-per-view.
So much fuckery. It's interesting as well when you think about Will. In New Japan, the United Empire themselves are so over. They are supremely loved by the Japanese fans. They're loved by international fans. They very much now, more than ever, they didn't originally play the face role, if you will. You know, it blurs, but they are loved by the people. But when you put Will in an AEW setting, he's the heel, and you put him against a face Kenny in the situation that they're in, the heat cranks up even more.
His
Do they want to
comments
cash
about
in on
Canada
that?
was phenomenal, by the way.
I didn't actually see the. Are you talking about the tweets?
No, so he was like, I don't know why everyone says Canadians are so nice. Chris Jericho, dickhead.
Oh, yeah.
Bret Hart, dickhead.
Oh, what was it?
That
Was
was
it? You say Bret Hart just moans all the time? Was that the other one?
He says, yeah, I don't know why
He was
anyone
slanging
wants
off
to
Don
listen
Callis in
to
that,
him.
wasn't he?
He's not wrong either.
Oh, no.
Wow. I do think we're in a interesting position though. I think there's a lot of ways this could go. We all know it's going to deliver. It's just what lies at the end of the road. I don't see Kenny losing. I had a gut feeling when this match was announced that Kenny was going to win, and everyone was like, "It's not happening, Libby. It's not happening." And I have a gut feeling about this one. Kenny's going to retain, and I'm 1 for 1. So just putting
It's
that
100%
out there.
record.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should rescind my comments so that I can keep my 100% record, not have to give it up. I can just die on my.
It's what I
100%
strive
hill.
for. Just one prediction to be right is that, like, because when we do them on the Pure Vision podcast, I've not got one right yet since we started
Really?
predicting things.
Not one at all. Well, maybe throw your hat in for this one, and this can be your pride
I'm
and
sticking
joy.
by the draw. That's my prediction for this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with
tournament draw.
Ospreay.
Draw.
One of us are going to be right.
This live stream was not wrong at any point. That was, we covered everything. There's no way we can be wrong here.
At least one of us has got the correct answer there.
That's what I
Covered
like.
all possibilities.
It's a team effort.
Definitely. I mean, some matches that are perhaps more easy to call are the world title matches, and we'll come to the AEW world title match first. MJF defended against the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. I mean, MJF's going to win. We all know that, don't we? But this should still be a great match.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. I think the interesting thing about MJF is that it's very easy to doubt him, and he almost always delivers in the end.
He over delivers in everything that he does.
Yeah.
People don't like it because he says the same shit on the mic every week, but he is a phenomenal wrestler. He is fucking outstanding.
As someone who doesn't watch as much AEW as you two, when I see him, I just think it's just nice because he's just he's a proper star, isn't he? Because I don't see him every week, or I don't know if he's on the telly every week. But when I turn it on and he comes out, and it's he just carries himself like a star, and he wrestles like one as well now. And
he does.
Yeah, the complaints of MJF, and I was with them like a year or so ago, but now you can't really go against him.
He's doing less segments that are in the ring, which is good for everyone's sanity because it's like Groundhog Day all over again. But he's been fantastic. His run as champion has been really fucking good. It's
really
been
good.
One great match, one great rivalry after another, and this will be another great match.
What I think they've smartly done is cottoned on to the fact that not only are the fans sick of 15 minutes of MJF talking on the mic by himself in a ring, every freaking wrestler dunks on him about it as well. Everyone mentions it all the time, talking about MJF time. Is they very smartly put him in the ring with people to talk to, or for people to talk to him. He is, I think, so much more able to flex his mic skills interacting with another person. It's the same.
He bounces off people a lot better than he carries a segment. He's got charisma, chemistry with everyone.
Exactly. And he's the kind of person you want to see cut off. He's the kind of person you want to see someone get one up over, which is kind of it's a little bit funny with Adam Cole now that MJF is nearly always the stupidest person in that whole arena, and Adam Cole continues to outsmart him all the time. I'm like, what happened to the MJF that connived his way to the title? Is he this stupid? But them two together is just magic, and it just makes him as a champion so much better. He's actually, wrestling is an ensemble piece. You have your stars, you have your main characters. you have your monologue moments. But the magic of wrestling is people coming together and doing things and interacting with each other. That's the magic stuff. And that's what you want to see for your champion as well. If he's not wrestling, give us the ensemble work.
Yeah, and he keeps himself special, doesn't he? He's not oversaturating him. He's not there every week, and that, as much as people said like complain about that, but that's he's a special attraction because he's not there every week. That's sort of the. But do you think this Adam Cole storyline and are they a tag team now? The teasers like for this tag team tournament coming up. Will that play any part on Sunday?
I don't know. I don't think it'll play a part on Sunday, but that segment was fucking hilarious. That shut up Shivani moment.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but when they announced a blind tag tournament and they didn't really explain it, I was like, oh, so you're a tag team, you show up to the ring, you don't know who don't know who you'll be wrestling, you don't know who the other tag team partner is. I did not know it was that in bingo hall style, you do not know who your tag team partner is. And as I understand it, once they've all been drawn, they will know who will be facing who. Is that right? Or will they just still not know who they're facing?
I mean, I looked at it as it would. I thought they were drawing.
It was explained really well.
Yeah, I mean, amazingly well. We all understand, don't we? That's the way I thought it was. Like all the little pieces of paper in the like the bingo thing were tag teams. So I thought you'd pick it out and like one would be the Lucha Brothers and one would be like Private Party, whatever. But no, I was wrong. They're like individual wrestlers, aren't they? But
yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was really confused when Tony Schiavone announced that MJF and Cole are going to be. I was like, wait, this is fantastic. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, right. I was like, I felt everything sort of come together, like the puzzle pieces connected in my mind. I was like, oh, that was the point of the segment with RJ and Tony. It just felt like a bit wedged in there before, and I'm like, oh, it works now. I mean, I think it's a fantastic idea. It gives me sort of Kenny Hangman vibes, like how well that went when it was like two opposites put together. What can what's the drama that can come from that? And I love
a little bit different for MJF as well. Like normally we have to go through the gauntlet of MJF before we get to an MJF match, but no, this is cool.
It is a really interesting way to spice up AEW for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that's it, isn't it? It's interesting, if a little bit confusing. But Kieran's
hey.
Here is Shibata 2 belts. So we can move on to that match in a little bit, can't we? The 4-way. We've got we guess we can talk about it now, but then we'll mess up the order. Kieran's here. We'll move around the order for him.
The Kieran sway.
2 belts.
I mean, do we think it's possible? Do we think this is happening? So the match is in my brain. I've just watched Dynamite. Bear with me. It's Shibata.
It's a memory test. This.
This is Shibata versus Orange versus Danny G versus Zach. Right?
Yes, but it's only for Orange Cassidy's belt.
Right? Yeah. No pure belt on the line.
Yeah, and no New Japan television title on the line. It's just Orange Cassidy.
Oh yeah. Just for the international.
So everyone's got a title except Daniel Garcia. He's got his dancing, hasn't he? So it's all right.
He has got dancing. That is so true. Guys, do you think Shibata 2 belts is on the cards for Forbidden Door?
I don't care which of the 3 win. So long as Orange Cassidy does not leave that pay-per-view with that fucking belt. I am sick of every single AEW show starting with 20 minutes of Orange Cassidy doing the same fucking match every week.
Oh,
wow.
I'm so fed up with it. I love it, Orange Cassidy as well, but I'm just so it's like when The Walking Dead came out and all of a sudden there's zombie movies everywhere. Now there's just Orange Cassidy fucking everywhere, and I'm just so done with
it. He's never been someone I've liked, but I guess he's just not my sort of wrestler, and I've not watched much of his title matches just because I watched the ones on the pay-per-views, but other than that, I'm like, I can't bring myself to watch Orange Cassidy wrestle every week because, like Alex said, he's got the one match, and his one match is popular, but it's just not for me. But yeah, I'll be honest, I can't see him lose. I mean, Liam says about Daniel Garcia in the chat. That's the only thing that I can't see Zack Sabre Jr. taking it, because he's in New Japan and into the G1 next month, and I can't.
I can't see Zack Sabre Jr. winning, because he commented a couple of weeks ago saying that he expects to be in the US quite a lot this year.
He has officially moved to the US from Japan now.
Oh no!
Sorry if you love Orange Cassidy, Colin.
Soz Colin, I'm so sorry. From one Scottish person to another, I feel real beef starting here, but like an OC beef based.
I mean, if you can get a beef going over Orange Cassidy, you're doing well.
The whole of when Kieran tweeted out about, like, what did you say?
That was amazing.
The match. And that got a lot of heat. A lot of OC stands came out of the woodworks to tell Kieran their thoughts.
See, I'm glad
which
you've
Kieran
sort
loved,
of set fire to it, Alex, because I keep quiet about Orange Cassidy, because everyone loves him, and I feel like I always thought I was on an island. Like, everyone loves him, and I think he's shite. But then apparently everyone's like, I'm not allowed.
I don't think he's shit. I just think that we've had too much Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. I don't think he has the same match. I think they all start in a similar way. And so if you are not interested in watching, you ain't gonna fucking stick around and see. You're like, no, it's the same thing.
I think there's some truth to that. It depends on who he's wrestling, but the last few weeks you've been able to predict almost to the finish, a little bit like Darby Allin, actually, how his matches are going to end. And that, I guess that's the point at which I switch out. Like, I don't do this very often, but when he pinned Swerve, I shouted "fuck off" at the TV.
To be honest, Swerve is kind of the perfect person for this belt within AEW. Like, it would be a great platform for him. And listen, Tony Khan just has a massive crush on Orange Cassidy. He will not let him go.
He gets a massive pop from everyone. Like, he's over. So I feel a little bit like Jamie. Like, I'm on an island at the moment where, like, I'm surrounded by a sea of orange juice, and I was like, fucking it needs to go out.
You guys can start like an anonymous group together. You can meet weekly and talk about
Orange Cassidy support group.
Yeah.
Orange Juice Anonymous.
He's wrestling again. When will it end?
If I see another pair of jeans and those sunglasses, I don't know.
I think that it's possible for Shibata 2 belts. Also, Tony has a massive crush on Shibata for sure. So I don't think it's out of the realm.
Liam agrees as well. So.
See, there it is.
He's a pretty dude, to be fair, but still.
Who
seen
doesn't
too much
have
of
a
him.
massive crush on OC? You guys don't, that's for sure. If you had to pick one person to take the belt out of this match that isn't Orange Cassidy, who's your pick?
Zack Sabre Jr.
Are you Zach as well?
No, it's Garcia for me. I can't. I mean, maybe it's just a help. I don't want Zack Sabre Jr. to disappear to AEW. Maybe that's like a personal perspective, but yeah, I didn't know he'd moved to the US. That worries me slightly. But
so I think I don't. Well, I've had discussions with people about this before, and we've spoken about it on podcasts before. Zack Sabre Jr. in an AEW doesn't really feel like the right fit. He could do it. He's great. He's fucking Zack Sabre Jr. You know, he'll slay wherever he goes. But it doesn't really feel like the right place for him. The stuff in Ring of Honor, I think, has worked really well. And I just feel like he's moving over there to probably do more American type New Japan shows.
Strong, yeah.
I can't see him in AEW, joining AEW. I really think like Japan is, I mean, you never know, but it really feels like New Japan is the right place for him, and he knows
I agree.
that.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're gonna ramp. You know, now Strong's actually kind of like, I guess, folded, is gone. They in New Japan are in a much stronger position now to run a lot more shows, and have run a lot more shows. As little pay-per-views, as whatever. So I think he's just going to have a presence there. No doubt Tony Khan would give him an offer. I don't know. Everyone
Who
talks about
wouldn't?
contract rumors,
Like-
but I have no idea what his situation is. But the word is that he's moved to America. So
that's.
I mean, if he's going to be building up New Japan Strong, like that's a good person to have doing it.
Yeah.
And also, if he's going to be doing a bit more New Japan stuff, a bit more American stuff, then having him with the belt is actually like pretty good. But I mean, if it is actually, I would love Zack Sabre Jr. to win it, but I assume it's going to be Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia makes sense, doesn't he? But for
I would love that to happen. I would. I'm such a Danny G fan. I think he's fantastic. I think he's really, really talented. I just don't know if it will happen. Oh, what's Liam saying? As much as I love Zack Sabre Jr., I want him to win the least just because of the G1, and the belt would be disappearing for nearly 2 months.
It'd be vengeance for Kenny Omega getting lost with the United States title. It's just retribution. That's all it is.
Having one defense. Yeah.
We have enough.
Yeah.
But we do have enough like workhorse championships in AEW to last us the G1. Really,
the only thing that for me with Zack Sabre Jr. is that he does a lot he's like a star in New Japan, and I don't know if he would if he moved over to AEW, he'd sort of get lost in the mix because there's just a lot of wrestlers in AEW, and if he moved over, maybe like he gets pushed to the wayside in a way. But yeah, Daniel Garcia seems to make sense. But I mean, saying that, I mean, Orange Cassidy could defend the title very easily, couldn't he? So you never know.
It's not unlikely. I do as well. I don't think Tony would mind losing that belt for 2 months, where we've got the Owen Hart Cup and this blind tag tournament stuff going on. There's quite a lot to fit. I mean, AEW now has 1 billion hours of viewing a week, but it's quite a lot to fit in. And this belt is supposed to be international. It's not gone further than Canada.
It's not
one
moved.
time in London.
When Pac had it, when Pac had it, he defended it twice in the UK, and it was like, this is great. They're doing exactly, and then Orange Cassidy got it, and he's not left America.
Not gone anywhere. The Western country only belt currently.
The North American Championship.
Yeah,
that's been taken, hasn't it? So
yeah.
So we'll move on now, and we've got an interesting point here bringing up in the chat. No New Japan Bullet Club or Bullet Club Gold appearances at Forbidden Door before we get back on track with the going through the rest of the match.
I expect that they'll make an appearance because they're everywhere, like literally everywhere. As Libby pointed out on the AW podcast, where there is sunshine, the Bullet Club will grow.
I describe Bullet Club like a mold on a tree. That's
harsh.
I was like, if there's sun, it will grow towards it, and it will continue to spread throughout the forest. I love Bullet Club. Listen, I'm a Bullet Club girlie through and through. I love them. I love what they're doing right now. I've loved them in their times when they were essentially just a watered down drink. Bullet Club is dead, but that's okay because it can do other things. Israel, I think we have Collision yet to go. And Rampage. I just forget about Rampage now.
Is Rampage live this week?
I think they recorded last night.
So no, then
someone do a quick Google.
I think this is where, because one of the other matches to go on to later is Adam Cole, Tom Lawler, and I think that's getting set up on Rampage. But obviously everyone already knows because of like spoilers. But because that has not been set up in the slightest. Yeah, well, there you are. Because that's not been set up, has it? So maybe they've recorded Rampage. That makes sense. But yeah, there's like so 2 more shows before the Forbidden Door. So
it's an interesting position for Bullet Club in terms of David Finlay's Bullet Club, which I love. Its new look with all these dojo boys. I think it's great. Dan Maloney in there as well. Great combo. Into it, feels like the Bullet Club of old days of yore. But there is obviously the big Jay Finlay, tension in the room in terms of Jay's just doing Bullet Club Gold, how things they left off. Words, everyone. And it kind of feels like a perfect Forbidden Door match would be for them to face each other. But, it's way, way, way too soon.
Too early, yeah.
And I'm not sure what the other natural fit is there in terms of who. I mean, Bullet Club have beef with everyone, but kind of everyone you sort of expect them to have beef with is kind of booked and busy. The Elite have got their match, Blackpool Combat Club have got their match, Jericho's got his match going on. There's not really like any. I don't know where it would go. What do you guys think?
No, I can't really see. I mean, it's just that they're the collision sort of aspect to them, aren't they? With like Juice Robinson shouting, just like picking a word to shout really loudly for a night, and then like Jay White actually trying to cut a promo behind him, and it's well, there's a suggestion here from as well. Juice Robinson, Jay White against FTR.
Versus Finlay and someone. Ooh, I like this. I like this thinking. I also think where FTR have had the tag team titles in New Japan, Finlay and somebody taking a loss can work. I don't know actually if they'd want Finlay to take a loss going into the G1, because I think Finlay has a very good chance of going through to the finals this year. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely feels like they're putting him through. Like
he'll get to the quarters. It's if he gets to the semis or not.
Yeah, it feels like they're taking Finlay very seriously over in New Japan right now. He really has had like a lot of big stuff happening, and I think the G1 is kind of set up for it to really work out for him. But I like the idea of that matchup. I don't know in the politics side if it could work, but I actually would love to watch.
If you remove FTR, that match would be fantastic.
Listen,
well,
I think FTR are great wrestlers. I don't want to hear them talk. I just don't think they need to speak. I think
nobody
does.
Wrestle. It's fine.
Exactly. Like their talents are in their bodies. It's not in their mouths.
I didn't expect the AEW podcast host to hate AEW wrestlers.
I don't hate FTR. I'm fed up with them. Yeah. Like and it's not their in-ring, although to be fair, their in-ring work hasn't been that fantastic this year, to be fair. But
they've not been given a lot of good stuff to work with.
Nah,
to be
not
fair.
Really. But
and it's been difficult in terms of like the Guns were really just holding the titles for FTR to come back, so that like FTR doesn't have to face the Acclaim, because everyone is going to want the Acclaim to be FTR. So it's been kind of like a kind of grown sigh. We all knew that they were going to be the Guns. We all knew that this stuff was coming. We all knew this stuff with CM Punk was coming. I love it for the people who love them. I'm glad that their dreams are coming true. I just think it's a little bit. They're feeling tired. Their best stuff was when they kind of went out on their own. They were heels.
Yeah,
and then
when they were over as fuck last year, that run was fantastic. Like
the will of
I
the
don't
people
dislike FTR as wrestlers. I just don't think that they're like they've not. It is difficult because they've not had that much to work with. But I don't think that they're particularly great at the moment. And this is Forbidden Door, and we should be showing the best. So if they're not currently on the form to be among that group, then they shouldn't be on the show.
Yeah,
we'll come to Israel's question in a minute because Corey Michaels.
Hey, Corey! Wrestling member. What's up, Corey? How you doing?
And they said with their FTR's work with the Briscoes has been their highest point, and I don't feel they've had the dance partner of late, which is pretty much what we've been saying there, isn't it? They're great, but they haven't had the opportunity to be great recently.
That's because they can't elevate other people to their level. Yeah. They need other people to elevate them, and I don't think that is harsh. I think that if you look at people like the Briscoes or FTR or Aussie Open, they elevate everyone that enters the ring with them. The FTR need to be in the ring with someone that's as good as them or better, because they don't bring people up to their level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
before
just
we
feel
go,
like
go on.
this isn't the true FTR. I feel like
No.
they're playing faces. They're not necessarily our faces right now. And I wanna see FTR be FTR. I don't want to see them play instruments that aren't theirs.
Yeah, so before we go on to some of the other matches, Israel has a nice question for Zaid. What do you think the Guns, the Gun Club, will be in Bullet Club Gold? I mean, for me, like a very quick answer, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I think
They
it's
are
a perfect
phenomenal.
fit. It's a perfect fit. That you have to have a certain level of charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to be hanging around with Jay White and Juice as well, who I think is actually, yes, he does shout a lot, but I think Juice has finally kind of found his feet with this rock hard Juice Robinson character. You gotta be ready to effing play if you are gonna hang out with them, and they totally do, totally can. And I think it's such a great matchup in terms of just personalities and wrestling. Like,
they've grown a
it
lot
works.
over the last few months as well. Like, it was a really small thing, but their entrance on Dynamite last night, like, they were very comfortable and they had an actual presence about them. They're become like, they might not be the best in the ring, but they are like actually becoming stars, because they are
they
really
are
good.
quite good in the ring, you know. I mean, I'm not a professional wrestler. It's easy to be
I'm not saying
a critic.
I'm not saying
an
I'm not
artist,
saying that they're
There's
bad, by the
I
way.
think
They're not.
There's a lot of good tag teams in AEW. So they're all like, if maybe there's in WWE, they'd be like a great tag team, but in AEW they're like a middle of the road tag team. But they've got
That's
that
what I
charisma
mean.
that pulls them through.
Yeah.
It's as well, like, the tag team division really dissolved to create the trios division, and now the trios division doesn't really exist either. So it's nice to see like a tag team be a tag team, join a unit as a tag team, serve some tag team realness. Like, that's what I want. I love tag wrestling. Like, I want to see tag teams do stuff together, like true tag teams.
I don't get the impression that they will stop wrestling like tag teams do when they hover around Jericho either. Like, they'll still be active, but they'll grow a lot around Jay White as well, because like, he's fantastic at everything that he does. I think it's a really good fit for them. You want young people to be around people like Jay White, because there's very few better in wrestling than what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next match to talk about is the trios match between Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki. Are they calling them the Suzuki Gods? I think that's what they're calling
Suzuki
them.
Gods, yeah.
The Suzuki Gods.
That's it, yeah.
There you are. Against Sting, Darby Allin, and a mystery partner. Suki has the thought, so she stole my thunder, or they've stolen my thunder here, because I was going to say Naito as for my. But who do you think the mystery partner is going to be?
It's giving LIJ for sure. Like, I think Shingo was so excited about Sting last year. I feel like I want him to have this again. Like, I feel like it's a perfect little matchup. I also, remember Hiromu did not get to come over last year. This might be a nice little slot for Hiromu to come in and join the team. There are no weight divisions in
can't see
AEW.
Naito at all. He hates Western wrestling. Like, he's never been quiet about it either. Like, I just can't see him being there. But Shingo would be cool.
There is kind of like the politics around LIJ, CMLL, AAA, who can and can't do what and where.
I think the thing that I thought is when because they did that segment on Dynamite last night, and Sting said it's someone you know. So I was thinking, who? Because I'm just you're just going to assume that it's someone from New Japan, don't you? And thinking of people from New Japan that he's had a really bloody feud with Naito. But a lot of people in the chat now saying that they want it to be Shingo. So
I would love it to be
I've
Shingo.
It'd be wonderful,
swayed
wouldn't it?
you
Yeah.
all.
I thought just with the thing of what Sting said it being someone he knows, I thought Naito made sense. But I mean, if it's Shingo, if it's Hiromu, it could be anybody, it's still going to be good, isn't it? So
I do feel there is a Naito hole. I really regret what I've just said. In
Move on.
Forbidden Door. There's a big
Don't
old
stop.
Naito hole waiting to be filled at Forbidden Door. It didn't happen last year, and it just feels like that's something unfulfilled within Forbidden Door, is something to do with Naito. And it's weird to think of Naito not being involved in such a big show.
Yeah, definitely. I think with another comment here saying, do we think that a lot of the big players in New Japan have been left out? Obviously, we've got Okada and Tanahashi and the champion Sanada. Maybe if you had a Naito in there, or with Shingo, then you've got, I mean, obviously Ospreay's in there as well. There are a lot of the people that New Japan are putting their trust in. They're on that show, but there's like the LIJ is the main exception, isn't it, at the minute?
Yeah, and I think if we can't, they haven't an AEW audience, which the cross section between that and New Japan is huge. They sold out Forbidden Door without announcing a single match. So it's like, it's not difficult. But in terms of what does it mean to put someone on Forbidden Door that you haven't even seen on AEW before? How does that resonate with an AEW audience member? If you take a really big player from New Japan, even someone you kind of know the name of, can you just assume people will know them, and do you take that risk if the crowd decides to no sell it, which they wouldn't do because there are people who watch New Japan there, but
and
it's
especially the people that are paying for a pay-per-view, they know all the New Japan people are.
Yeah. A good point from Colin. Despy should be on the card. Despy is on the commentary team on the Japan side. They have him record commentary. Yeah, they all do the Ricky Starks pose. They all love Ricky Starks.
Nice,
Starks a lot. But he's done some commentary bits for AEW. He watches the show. He's well aware of what's going on. It does feel like he would be a good fit within there.
I mean, it'd be Kieran's best night if it was Despy was on the card and Strata won, wouldn't it? His dreams would come true.
It would be. I mean, give me a second. But is Despy just 5 guys?
No, I think they're all split at the minute, aren't they? Because he was in Suzuki-gun, wasn't he? And then Suzuki-gun is no more, and he's sort of on his own little island at the minute.
He's just wild in. I was trying to remember. Is he in 5 guys?
He's in the trio. It's him, Suzuki, and Narita.
That's
the little strong style trio.
That's it. They're a little strong style trio.
So I couldn't imagine Despy being the mystery man because he's not going to go against.
No. I did wonder for a minute. I was like, hang on, who is the 5 guys of the 5 guys again? Who are they? Yeah. Again, it definitely feels. Yeah, you would want a Despy in there, and Despy's style, because it's so lucha influenced, would make a great fit, I think, in terms of what AEW have as well. Yeah,
and Liam says here, one of the other matches on the card is the big 5-on-5 match with the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club. It's so remember them all: Claudio Castagnoli, John Moxley, Takeshita, God knows it, Shota Umino, and Wheeler Yuta. No, that's 5, isn't it? Against the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, Eddie Kingston, and then it was the mystery 5th man, and it got found out to be Ishii, didn't it? And Liam said he was surprised it wasn't Desperado, and that does make sense, doesn't it? If it was, it's someone he's got history with. Of course, Moxie's got that history with Ishii as well. They had a match in the G1 a couple of years ago, and really beat the hell out of each other and that sort of thing. So they have got that history there. But yeah, Desperado, he could have been someone to add on to this card.
Would have been a great 5th. For sure. I mean, Ishii makes total sense. AEW audiences love Ishii. Oh my God.
He's mad over.
He's so over with AEW audiences. It's he's had great matches in AEW, so it makes sense. But every time he comes out and you hear the AEW crowd go crazy, you're like, whoa, a lot of Ishii left in the room tonight. It's just not something you'd necessarily expect. And then you remember how good the quality of matches he's actually had in AEW has been. wouldn't have expected this. I wouldn't have expected Eddie Kingston to be, part of their team. I really like it. It's great. I want to see those people interact. I want to see those people wrestle. And oh my God, the segment with Eddie and Mox, I
That
felt
was
like,
fantastic.
when you're in like a restaurant or you're out somewhere and suddenly like you witness like a couple having an argument or somebody like having a breakup and you have to like stop in your tracks and watch. That's how I felt about this. I was like gripped to my sofa. Like I could not believe what I was watching. It was such a good segment, like natural as well, like so real. It was didn't feel like a script or a planned moment. It was just like the rawest thing I have seen in a while.
Eddie's so
Yeah,
good,
definitely.
man. Like,
They miss him.
Mox is as well, but there's very few promos better than Eddie. And when you put him in the mic with Mox, it's just they're really intense guys and they know each other really well. And their whole rivalry before as well, that was fantastic.
It was really good. I think it's such a great little extra bit of spice as well to the match. Can Eddie really take on John? Can he, if he's given the chance to pin him, will he? Can he? And then also with Ishii in the mix, Kenny and Ishii are long-time kind of rivals in terms of they had some fantastic matches in New Japan. So it's fun to see them in a team together as well.
Yeah, Corey says interesting news. He's really hyped for Ishii. Wants Ishii and Takeshita to sort of meet in that match. No, it'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. They are the two.
The possibilities in that match with the 10 people in there. It could be like a show stealing sort of match. That
I think there's a lot of potential for that for sure. A lot of beef, a lot of alliances. A lot of things going there. You have to remember, I mean, the Bucks aren't heels anymore, but they did betray John Moxley. They super kicked him in the face when they teamed up with him to go against Kenny and what are they fucking called? The Good Brothers. So
don't talk about Good Brothers.
Everyone's favorite what's the belt? Neverweight champion.
The 6-man titles.
So I think there's a lot to take in for that one. I think you're right. It could steal the show.
So the next match, it's it's disappointing for me that you can get an IWGP World Heavyweight Title match and it'd be so low down the pecking order of the matches. But we've got Sanada against Jungle Boy or Jack Perry now, I guess, is what he's going by. I mean, I guess in a way, Sanada isn't a massive star, is he? Compared to like your Okadas and your Tanahashis. But I'm slightly disappointed.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jamie, as a New Japan fan, how did this feel?
Yeah. I think for me, it's like, because like you look at MJF against Tanahashi, and that's a massive match. And then you look at Sanada against Jack Perry, and that's very mid-card. Like, just stick him in there with Wardlow at that point. And it's just like, it's really mid-card. And it shouldn't be that mid-card with like the title on the line. But
is it not kind of similar to because he's been defending his title against, I guess, more unexpected opponents in New Japan, hasn't he? So it's kind of makes sense for the run that he's on at the moment.
Sort of they've all had like storyline purposes, haven't they?
That's
been the thing. But it's a different environment, and I understand because Jack Perry is a big star in AEW with the way they present him, and he's part of the 4 pillars and everything, and that. So no, he's meant to be a big star. He's meant to be.
Exactly. He is, but like no one's stripping over their shoes to get to the seat necessarily. Listen, he can definitely serve some really great matches, and he started to get really good on the mic. Is he a main event player just by himself? No, you can rotate him in and he can do a great job, but there is still something, and I think it's the attachment to the kind of Jungle Boy gimmick that he doesn't have anymore, but still referred to.
He's still Jungle Boy though, isn't he?
He's still Jungle Boy, and it sort of feels like there needs to be. I would love a heel turn for Jungle Boy. I
think it's coming, to be honest. It seems like what they're building towards. I don't think that he's able to carry this sort of attempted grittiness that he's doing as a face. I don't think that he handles that the same way. I think it's because maybe it's just his presentation. He looks so fresh faced. Like it doesn't really fit
he's
with
young,
He looks
how
like
he
a
right?
baby
looks.
face, doesn't he?
Yeah, he looks like a baby face, but I
If he
think
shaved
maybe
his
like
hair, that would be drama.
it would, but I think that heel run is kind of needed at the moment just to like get him to the place
Yeah.
where you can take him as seriously as his
Yeah.
presentation suggests he should be.
He needs some flexibility. I think
Yeah.
every promo for him is like, I'm the best and I want to win a title. It's the year of Jack Perry and I'm trying my best. And you're like, that's great. Also, that's what every other face is doing. He needs some room to experiment, I think, and do stuff that you get as a heel. But I would say Sonata's definitely, his title run has really been about not only him as, a fresh champion, but fresh competitors. There has been a lot of people you wouldn't expect, or younger people, or, like the returning Tsuji, which was like an incredible match. It is definitely an era of New Japan now where things are fresh for the first time in a really long time.
It's
Things
nice.
have
It's really
actually
nice.
felt new. And I think this is just a part of that. And I'd think it's going to take us by surprise. I really feel for everyone that wanted a big match for Sonata. I do.
I mean, I know it's
feel your pain.
Sonata, but like Jack Perry's he's a mid card, let's be honest. He's on the mid card like Ricky Stark sort of level, and it could have been more.
I would say he's below Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is like
well, it should be Ricky Starks then.
over
I
as
think
fuck.
Ricky
It
Starks
should
is a
actually
better
be Ricky
wrestler.
Starks.
Ricky Starks Sonata would be an amazing match.
I would watch
that would be really, really interesting.
I mean, I'd rather it be Christian, to be honest with you, than Jungle Boy. So.
That is no. Stuff him in his turtleneck in the back.
Listen, I will always love Christian, and I will always love a heel Christian. No, he can't go like he used to, of course. But I would pay to see Christian Sonata. I bet that would be
a
ridiculous.
It's one of them. There's so many big matches on this card as there is. I think it's not the end of the world that Sonata's match is a little bit further down the pecking order, just because it'll still be a good match, and I'm sure it'll deliver.
Yes. Yeah,
even if Jungle Boy wins, then I'm never watching New Japan again. So,
can you imagine? That'll be absolutely nuts.
The piss boiling on. I actually want this to happen now because New Japan Twitter will go mental.
We'd break Twitter. Like the New Japan fans would break Twitter. You'd wake up on the morning and it was like Jungle Boy is like, what has happened?
Jamie, you make these fantastic threads reviewing shows, and I could just feel like this one will be like, fuck it. Like, that would be the whole review.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do one. I'd get to the matches. I would not watch it anymore. I'm never watching wrestling again.
It's over. It's cancelled.
Yeah. So the only other title match on the show is Toni Storm's women's title defense against Willow Nightingale, who's the strong women's champion. But it's only for Toni Storm's title, but it's a nice like champion versus champion sort of thing. This has potential, this match.
It does.
This will be a good match.
I think it will be good. I kind of feel bad Willow doesn't get to defend the strong belt. I feel like it's the New Japan women's belt. It's one of them. I feel like she should get to defend it. Or imagine like a Mayu coming over.
Israel just jumped in and said Malachi Black should have been facing Sonata, and yes, that would be amazing.
Isn't he one of those trios? Doesn't he have the trios belt? I'm not.
He is. He's the trios champion right now.
But they can stay away, can't it? Really? So.
Yeah, I mean they barely put it on the weekly show. I don't feel like it's coming in the pay-per-view.
They've got 5 hours of telly, and I still think you'll see a trios match still.
I have to say I haven't watched Rampage in a while. Obviously, there's been the first episode of Collision. Buddy Matthews had a single match. He's one of the trios champions, but
Brody Lee's got one this week, and has he against Andrade?
That's a good match. I like the way. I feel like they are building up.
Like Miro. He's better.
To be fair, Buddy Matthews versus Andrade was also a good match.
It was really, really great. I do feel like they are brewing something in terms of like an Andrade, Roosh, Preston Vance trio against the House of Black, but politics wise, even though people are leaving places or whatever, it wouldn't happen on Forbidden Door, so they're kind of letting it float over Forbidden Door, and then might pick it up again afterwards. But yeah, I feel
Willow
like
Nightingale.
the women's match would be great. I wish Willow could get her own match. And Mayu would have been a great match as well to have
That's
on
the
that
disappointment
card.
for me. I thought
Yeah,
she was nailed on to have a match on this card.
But I think they're
makes
all
total
booked
sense.
for a Stardom show on that day, aren't they?
Right.
They
Yeah.
are.
Which is disappointing because I would have thought that they would have had Mayu on the show, but
They've
don't
done
know.
this before. They've gone back to back with AEW before.
Yeah.
I can if it was Mercedes Moné, because obviously in that when Willow Nightingale won the title, Sasha Banks got injured. Mercedes Moné got injured in the match, and I can't.
Yeah.
Not for a second, I believe that Mercedes Moné was meant to not win that match. So I'm like,
No,
Yeah.
she called an audible
yeah,
in the
well,
ring.
it was a free count, and the show didn't move, and it didn't get counted, did it? That sort of thing, just because the ref didn't, because she was meant
Didn't know.
to win, wasn't she? But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I think if she had the title, she would definitely have a match on this card. So it's a little bit disappointing from that respect.
The rumor was it was going to be Mercedes and Saraya for that title at Forbidden Door, which is maybe something that can be considered for All In now. I don't know. Liam, yeah, Rossi decided to put literally everyone on the roster on Forbidden Door Day. Yeah, and you know what? Every match will be a draw. In Rossi style, it'll be the most Rossi pay-per-views that ever exists. Yeah, all of them, every single match.
Just for spite, Colin says.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were like, last year, like, man, no fucking women's matches. And now we've got the chance to, and we're just having one so far. So it's kind of
we have two. One's on the Billy Starks versus Athena. Yeah.
Oh, is that the Owen Hart Cup?
Yeah.
Which I got no problem with Owen Hart Cup. But it meant nothing last year. Didn't get you nothing. You got a little belt you had to carry around for 2 weeks.
It was basically King of the Ring, wasn't it?
It meant nothing.
But they didn't even get a title match out of it.
No. Why would you enter this tournament? Why would you enter this tournament as a wrestler? Like, thinking about it. Why would you put your body on the line for nothing? For nothing.
It's such an open goal to be like, if you win, you get a title match. It's like and then it's just a title match on the telly to just have one. It's just, it makes no sense. But there's a couple of matches in that tournament on this card, like the Billy Starks against Athena match, like you mentioned. But the one on the main show,
that'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry, that will be fantastic. Because Billy plays the face really well, and Athena's just beating the shit out of everyone at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it'd be a nice pre-show match to get people sort of invested in the card as a whole. Then, but the one on the main show is Satoshi Kojima against CM Punk.
CM Punk,
not Kenta versus CM Punk.
Fucking hard carry from.
Which may never happen because Kenta, I don't think he's been his best recently. Liam, Owen Hart Cup running in Canada without a single Canadian in the tournament. What I think will be interesting as well, in terms of Canada being perhaps, you might say, Kenny Omega elite country, where, like Chicago is CM Punk country. What is the reaction for CM Punk over there? I'm very curious to see how booed he will be, because obviously, him returning at Chicago is not the litmus test for the sense check of CM Punk.
Yes, Colin knows what's up.
And come on, Kojima, kick his ass! I would love to see that. Canada is also not going to be the litmus test, but it will be a curious situation to see how much hate he gets and how much people might cheer for Kojima, even if they don't know him, because his
promo wasn't a face promo. On Collision. It was a heel promo. And I think that's probably because AEW knows that they're about to do about 500 shows in Canada, and he's going to get booed out the building in every show.
Yeah.
He's a great heel, though, isn't he? He just fits it perfectly. And
he does.
It's because he's an arsehole.
This is the thing. I know, I'm not bothered. He's a great wrestler, and it's just funny just to see like, and even when he said his promo, he was complaining about elite fans. I think it's just funny, isn't it? Just because it's just like they're just so easily wound up, and he just knows what he's doing, doesn't it? It makes me laugh. But
he does.
He's pressing all
be a
the
good
right
match.
buttons. He's
Not
pressing
exactly,
all the
yeah.
right buttons.
He's such a wind-up merchant.
Oh, he
Massively.
succeeded in Collision. Like, Elite Twitter was not happy. But to be the same people that was absolutely in stitches at Matt Jackson failing to do the buckshot lariat was also fucking incandescent with rage about that counterfeit Bucks line.
Yeah, it's funny. I wouldn't say
Colin's
I'm
on your side here, Alex.
Yes, Colin.
I wouldn't say I'm on Elite Twitter, but I'm probably Elite adjacent or within it. And I don't tweet very often. If you follow me, I'm sorry. I just retweet other people. I just think everyone else has really great Twitter content, and I don't. So I'm like, you should look at that more. But it is interesting to see how people react and what people think. And I just don't think we're going to know until we're out of Canada what the situation is, who CM Punk
I think
is
it'll be more
going forward.
mixed in the US. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the Elite got some. I think there was some booze at the mention of the Elite the other day on Dynamite.
I think there was a fuck the Elite chant.
Was there?
I'm pretty sure.
There was a Collision, so.
There was a Collision, yeah. There was a very loud one at the Collision.
Yeah. I love it. It's amazing.
It is. It's bizarre. It's crazy.
It's like that they've made the Raw versus SmackDown thing, haven't they? But like by accident.
Yeah.
It's like they've got Collision fans and now Dynamite fans already, and I think they've made quite a good job of it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's kind of like a disaster, like a roster split. I think is terrible, but they're doing it very well. I'll give it to them. They've already kind of made this divide, and CM Punk being like, I'm supposed to be on Collision. I'm not even supposed to be on Dynamite. I'm a Collision guy. You know, just really, really hammering it home. I think it's kind of sad, the roster split. But
it's just compartmentalizing all the balance, isn't it? It's like you go over here to Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, you have some backstage heat. Don't worry. Saturday night is good for you. Can I just say the design of Collision it looks good. The theme song, "A Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting" by Elton John, also fantastic song. Those two together don't match. They do not match. They are so different. To me, the design of Collision looks like the inside of the Death Star. It looks like a Death Star corridor. Like, that's the vibe it gives me. And the song, I was just like, I love it. It just doesn't fit. It's just like two completely different shows.
It's a really weird song to have. Yeah.
Forced together. It's perfect for the show.
Everything had been like retro for it. Like the logo was inspired by old school WCW, and then they've got this old song, and then you've got this space age set, and it's like, this is a bit incongruous with the rest of the presentation. Like,
I
mean, don't get me wrong, the set looks fucking great, but it doesn't fit the rest of the vibe of the show.
It is not serving Elton John, that's for sure. That's what I know. It's such a different one.
I would prefer Baby Shark, Corey.
Collision should have Baby Shark as the theme. It is so true. True words have not been spoken before, ever. Yeah. This is biblical, I feel.
I guess I just don't have a strong opinion on it. I mean, it's a good song, and it looks nice. So I'm just I'm happy that'll do for me. And yeah, but that's the song. But it's Colin's agreement. It's spot on, Corey, with the Baby Shark theme. But yeah, I mean, it looks different than Dynamite. That's the main thing, isn't it, for Collision?
Yes,
if they looked the same, then it's like, well, what's the point? Because that was always Rampage's problem. But they're very different. It looks.
I was actually surprised it had a different set. To be honest, I genuinely did expect it just to be the Dynamite set.
It needed it, didn't it?
It does.
It did.
I think it looks fucking great.
It was a fucking good show, by the way.
Cool. It was a good show, to be fair. I'm regrettably so. I do not have time to watch more wrestling. I don't have enough time.
I definitely didn't just watch the promo and nothing else.
Completely fair. A lot of people with the Reddit blackout struggling to know what's going on. Oh, Corey, I think AEW should hire you straight away.
It'd been. That was really.
Are there any more matches? Possible
This
Tom.
is the thing. It's the
Tom
only
Lawler,
other
Adam
match
Cole?
that's been announced. I don't know. Is Adam Cole, Tom Lawler, and by the looks of it, that's like that was on like they're setting it up on Rampage, but it's been filmed. So it's on the Wikipedia, so that's basically true, isn't it?
How do you feel about that match?
I think this is going to be really fun.
It's so unnecessary just to put that out there because there's enough matches on this card, but it'll be good, won't it? I shouldn't complain because it'd be a good match, but it'd be the one I get to the end of like, could I have not gone to bed half an hour earlier? It needs that match. But no, it'll be a good match.
Yeah.
I mean, AEW always has this one match that's basically the let's get Cody Rhodes on the card match, but now it's let's get Adam Cole on the card match. And that's fair enough. Adam Cole's great, but this is the match.
I mean, if he just does the entrance and walks around the ring and back out, that's his job done, isn't it? That's all he's there for. There's a
good 4 minutes of time.
I'm hoping that's what he does at Wembley. Walks out, we could all shout Adam Cole baby, and then he walks away again. That's the hope.
Listen, the ramp for Wembley is going to be huge. That football pitch is fucking massive. Part of me really wants to bring out the WrestleMania.
Down it. Yeah,
yeah.
The WrestleMania go-kart thing.
I think that would be hilarious. This match, would never have thought of it, but I love it. Two wrestlers who I think are really great. Both have really great energy. Could have a really, really good match. I 100% think this is a really, really good idea.
Yeah.
Does it need to be on the card? No. No.
It could be on the pre-show, probably. So it could be.
It might get pushed on the pre. That makes sense, doesn't it? If they've got an hour pre-show, have the women's match and then Adam Cole, maybe.
It's always a women's match.
I don't think they're giving an Adam Cole match away from free, but I think it probably should be on it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just, I think with the pre-show match, there's 11 matches on this card. And then if you look at some of them, when it's like there's like 6 matches that aren't going to be short. So I mean, unless Punk's wins in 2 minutes, then otherwise it's a long old card. This.
Yeah, I mean, Forbidden Door was crazy long last year.
It was
super super long, and I think when I was at Revolution 2022, I think that I was there for 6-7 hours with the pre-show as well. They are long ass shows. I hope everyone who's attending Forbidden Door for most definitely going to be a crazy show. Takes a sleeping bag, stay hydrated, get your salts in, bring a snack, buy a snack. I hope you're all prepared for what's to come.
Yeah, and as well as a little question for us here was, would we rather Will win at Forbidden Door or at All In? We all had different predictions, didn't we? Alex thought, was it Ospreay? You said Ospreay, didn't you? And I said a draw.
Yeah.
And Libby said Omega. So one of us is right, regardless. So
we all like Will Ospreay to win. I would like him to win and have a match against Pac at All In. I think that would be a fantastic way to get the crowd going. It would be a phenomenal match. I don't know if he will win, but I'd prefer Ospreay to win.
All I'm saying is, if supposedly one Kota Ibushi is going to be at All In, a Kenny Omega Will Ospreay match is the perfect place for an Ibushi to show up. It is those three are deeply rooted and intertwined in their history, and it seems kind of like a perfect situation for them to run into each other in some kind of way, if the Ibushi All In desires are fulfilled.
I think there would be more. I think they will be getting towards Omega versus Kenosuke Takeshita. Round about All In, or maybe something along that lines, which I guess would maybe be when Ibushi would come and make everything much worse.
A deeply tied trio there as well. There's a lot going on there. I didn't think there's a lot of options going on. It's quite nice. It's quite nice.
It's good, isn't it, that we don't know who's going to win. It's always nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is, because last year was very I think I did predictions with my mates and we all got everything right. Like, it was very predictable last year.
Oh,
But
now
this
who's got
one's
the
not.
100% record, huh?
Oh
Huh?
no.
We'll do a sweepstake on the Omega Ospreay match. One of us has to be right. So.
One of us. We'll put like 5p in each. Although I haven't seen a 5 pence piece in a long time. Has anyone got cash? I don't think I have cash.
No.
I found a $5 the other day, and I can't remember. I don't even know where it came from. Like, because I haven't had cash since like the pandemic.
Yeah,
it's a relic. It's a relic now.
Yeah. So before we have like a quick chat about what we think is going to be like the match of the show. Corey says here Miro or Samoa Joe should be on the Forbidden Door card. I mean, 2 other opponents for Sonada there. Exactly.
Imagine trying to suggest Miro losing to Sonada, though. It's like, that doesn't work for
Miro
me, brother.
losing to anybody. He's not doing that. Lose? What does that mean?
Especially a returning Miro. You know he ain't going to take a loss for a long time.
No.
That would be a fantastic match, though.
Collision's just going to be the home of the draws because no one will lose to each other.
Yeah, place your bets on Collision, guys. Okay, if that's where you're going to put your 5p is you put it on Collision matches. Samoa Joe would be really great as well, and Samoa Joe can take a loss, like in that arena. God, yeah, it's definitely like. God, it feels terrible to say, but there are matches, like there are people like Jungle Boy who I think should be on shows like this, and this is great, and it's great for them. It's a great platform, but to trade him in with somebody with a little more pizzazz, a little bit more connection to New Japan would be nice. But you got to make these connections somewhere. So this is Jungle Boy's, foot in the New Japan pond, I suppose.
Yeah, as long as you don't get put in like a G1 in future, I'm not bothered. So.
Well, Eddie in the G1, so
yeah, I mean we'll stick with Eddie. That'll do for me. So
that's a great one. That one makes total sense.
Yeah,
that must have made Eddie so happy.
I know he'd have been running around for weeks about that, wouldn't he?
Especially imagine going for surgery and then things happening, and you despite all of this, you still get booked for the G1.
Yeah,
he'd have
been in the shop going, "Hello, do you know I'm in the G1?" And then down the road, "Do you know I'm in the G1?" It's just everyone will know.
Everyone he meets.
Yeah,
his promo the other on Dynamite was fantastic. Sorry, I've had a lot of ice cream. I'm putting my t-shirt on.
A mood for everyone.
It was that segment, like we said before, was such an amazing segment with those two. He's just such a natural, isn't he? He's fantastic.
It's insane.
Do you ever see that skit on Being the Elite where he was cutting a promo about a donut?
I think it was a cookie.
Was that a cookie?
Yeah, and then the next week
Eddie's
they had
promo class.
Yeah, and then they had him do another one, and then they had him cut one on a Halloween bucket, and he was like, "This is it. This is the last one. I'm not doing any more of these. This is terrible." He was like, "The Halloween bucket was a flop. We're not doing this anymore." Which I was just like, it's the most Eddie Kingston thing ever. Just to be like, "Fuck this, not do it anymore."
I love about the Halloween buckets. That's the step too far.
That's it. That's the one. The inanimate object. We've moved away from edible treats to the inanimate object. There's not enough personality in it, unfortunately.
Yeah, but could you have a promo feud with a broomstick? That's the question, isn't it?
It's always going to have the broom.
Yeah. So before we go, then, what we've had as predictions of who we think is going to win, match of the show, and maybe a sleeper hit of the show.
Ooh, you guys go first.
Go on, Alex.
I think that Okada versus Danielson will be the match of the night. I think it'll get the most time. I think it'll probably be the best match. The sleeper, I think, will be the Blackpool Combat Club match, to be honest. I think that's probably going to be one of those get the crowd's energy back up matches.
Yeah, definitely. I think Okada Danielson, it's either that or the Omega match, but I couldn't see a little bit of messiness in that. So with the interference with Don Carson, like you've said. So Okada Danielson for me. And if you pick the 5-on-5, I'll go for the 4-way as my sleeper hit.
What do I think?
The Orange Cassidy wins 4-way.
Just to upset everyone.
I've just got the fear, man. I got the fear. He's just going to rock up and have another fucking 20-minute match on Dynamite, isn't he?
Okay, yeah, I do think Ospreay and Omega will probably be the big talking point of the night. If not, it will be Danielson Okada. Just trying to remember all the matches now. What do we what run down the matches quickly? What have we got?
So you got the 2 world title matches, or the trios match with our mystery partner who we don't know yet. That's
right.
Punk Kojima, maybe that's.
Oh yeah, that'll be it.
Kojima with a hard carry.
You know what? MJF Tanahashi. That's my sleeper pick.
That could be a good one, yeah.
Definitely. That should be good, shouldn't it? I mean, a long card, but there's no bad matches on that card, is there? So
true.
It should be a very good show.
Listen, we can complain, but there is all of it is actually going to be fucking fantastic matches. Like AEW always has this amazing problem, which is that their ceiling is really, really high. And when they don't meet it, even though something can be like a really, really great show and you put it up against, XYZ from XYZ company, it's like, wow, like it actually really outshines it. But because they can deliver such good stuff, the wrestlers, it's really down to the credit to the wrestlers, the matches, that when something is just good or really, really great compared to something that's absolutely fantastic, it's really easy to be like, I wasn't feeling it, I didn't like it, when actually it's great. It's a great problem to have, I think.
I think this will be up there for pay-per-view of the year again. Forbidden Door last year was pretty much my pay-per-view of the year, and looking at the card, this is like a super show. It's going to be fantastic.
There's no reason why not, is there?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So, well, thank you both for joining me. Before we go, have you anything to plug? Either of you, or your Twitters and everything?
Oh, go on, Alex.
You can come and listen to us ramble and me hate more on Orange Cassidy on the All Elite podcast.
So true.
I'm not brave enough to put it on Twitter, though. Sorry, Kieran.
You get the Kieran fans, don't you?
What's your at, Alex? Where can people follow you?
You can find me on Twitter at Alex_M197.
And yes, you can hear me on All Elite Listening. Comes out monthly. Is that right?
Second week of every month.
Second week of every month. There you go. You can also hear me on Into the Wrestleverse every Sunday. Patreon members of Wrestle In, or if you're not one yet, come join us. We have a lot of fun every Saturday. It's mostly us talking about the week and being very stupid. And yeah, follow me on Twitter at Libby_Cadman. And like I said, I don't tweet, but I retweet really great stuff. So if you like the people here, I will retweet their things onto your Twitter feed. You'll get more of them.
Yes.
I'm in. I don't think I have anything else to plug. I think I'm just vibing outside of that.
For myself, we have the Pure Vision podcast we do once a month. And if Orange Cassidy hate, if you want Jake Lee hate, that's the place to go. It's like half of our podcast is Jake Lee hate. So
whoa,
yeah, that's the
where
last.
Where does K stand in the Jake Lee hate?
It's like it's lovely. So like Ben loves him, I hate him, and Kay's like the bridge in bringing us together in somewhere in the middle.
Wow.
So
that is so K of them. That is so K of them to do that.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's the best go for me. J Johnson _16 is my Twitter, and my new Substack's over there. With all sorts of stuff I'm doing. Thank you everybody who's watched a bit of the live stream here and joined in on the chat. We really appreciated it. Lots of great questions and comments for everybody, and lots of Orange Cassidy hate. And what more could we want?
Yes,
I find my audience.
I feel like we've learned so much about you, Jamie, today. All the AEW corners will be exposed with your personality. I'm sure you're going to be the biggest AEW fan ever now after Forbidden Door, and just stop watching New Japan.
It's just been hidden. I actually don't watch Japanese wrestling. I only watch AEW. It's all made up.
All your reviews are lies. Your Substacks is just you, Walden. It just happens to be correct.
I just guess. Yeah.
Just read the Observer and then comment.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Jamie's actually an oracle, and he's actually writing these things, and then they're happening. It's amazing
Yeah,
stuff.
don't expose the secrets. Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Well, thank you both for joining me, and thank you everyone for listening. And enjoy Forbidden Door on Sunday, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna dance out.